What's up, people? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast. Hello, audio listeners, and hello, YouTube listeners. What is up, Zane?
Hello, Jakey boy. For those audio listeners joining us this week, my name is Zan, and I'm here with my partner Jake, who is slowly losing his mind each week. Check back in for the continual descent into madness.
The degradation.
Yeah.
Big
hey,
word.
Yo. Did you whip out a dictionary under the table?
Yeah,
I missed that.
I've been working on this ever since our last podcast. Same time, same day, every single week. We really do hope you guys are all staying safe and doing well. One of the few social interactions we get is this podcast. So You ready to hit this thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Right before we get into it, though, sorry to interrupt the flow. Just want to remind everybody, if you'd like to check the podcast out on your phone, on Spotify, iTunes, you can find us on part of the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. That's PREEDICTION. So, yeah, I think we're ready to hit it then.
Let's roll. All right, Xanifer, I expect maybe some backlash on this topic, but I love bringing some spicy topics.
That's a fun way to start things off. Yeah, people are going to hate what we have to say about this.
I think it's a great discussion point, especially the people that give it the time to really think about this. And it's actually around the FaZe dub situation and what I'm going to call a maybe almost, dare I say, a hard trust or a hard time trusting an organization like FaZe Clan when it comes to a few issues out there. And I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents, my back into this. And as per usual, leave a comment, leave your thoughts down below on maybe why I'm wrong, why I'm right. You don't have to agree with us at all, and maybe Zan won't. I love bringing up some spicier topics with you because you're kind of a different side of things. You're a different aspect as well. Let me give you my 2 cents, though. When it came time for the Dubs ban, I know you probably saw stories about this. If you guys have not, Dubs was actually officially banned by Epic Games from Fortnite following potential teaming accusations for 30 days. He took to stream a few days later with Seabass, also from FaZe Clan, to explain their side of things and did a great job. And in fact, we're actually now questioning why Epic Games did ban him because, they don't really establish their criteria publicly as to why they banned these people. But then I also wanted to state, because leading up to all of this, we had no idea his side of things until he explained it. And I stressed my concern of whether or not he actually had teamed or cheated or broken the rules. And me and you have talked along about a lot of FaZe controversies, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They are the org of controversy.
We have called them the controversy kings, and that comes with both good and bad things. And so I really wanted to stress my concern and where I come from, where during these accusations, why I did not fully trust Dubs or FaZe Clan. And again, obviously, I've apologized ever since. I've stressed how unsure I was, and now I do think he is, for the most part, innocent in this case. But you look towards just like their Fortnite division alone. You look towards people like Sway, Nate Hill, Funk Bomb, Dubs,
Jarvis,
Mongrel, Jarvis, their coach, Destiny's Jesus. Every name I just named off, I believe 7 names alone on their Fortnite roster, has either cheated, broken the rules, teamed, or had accusations of doing so. And just that alone, to me, is enough evidence, or I don't know, substantial backing as to why any future accusations, I'm going to find it hard to trust a player who plays for FaZe Clan or FaZe Clan when they try and clear a name of a player. And that's just the start of it. Of course, there's a lot of other things. You can mention all the lawsuits they've had and potential future lawsuits as well as to why I think that's good enough backing in some cases to not trust FaZe Clan. What would you say if I said that to you?
I'd 100% agree. And I don't know if I'd say FaZe Clan overall, because in my mind, as soon as you start talking about this, I think of like somebody like maybe like FaZe Nico, right? And I can't imagine him doing anything like sus at all.
CSGO player
for
FaZe
CSGO,
Clan.
yeah. And like I think it is kind of in a weird way, the Fortnite team and the content team are so closely intertwined that some of that like, a little bit more of the sketchy, more controversial stuff comes to light with the Fortnite squad than it does with any of the rest of FaZe, which obviously they're the ones in front of the cameras most, so they're going to be known as, like, I don't know if you'd call them like the core of FaZe per se, but they are the ones like front and center all the time.
Very public persona, right? Their Fortnite guys are definitely, I would say, more known for being public figures than their CSGO guys. Their CSGO guys obviously achieve a lot competitively.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I would agree. Publicly, persona-wise, FaZe Fortnite is very well known.
Yeah, if I was at FaZe, I mean, you've got to weigh the pros and cons here, because there's always the other side of things where very clearly Epic is doing a poor job of defining the rules around everything involving Fortnite and competitive and like just across the board. And so you almost can't blame FaZe because they've been given all of this gray area to work within, and they're just pushing their limits. And if, let's say, for example, one guy pushes their limits a little too far and let's say they earn 50K in the process, and oh well, I'm banned for 30 days. Is 30 days worth the 50K? And finding out whether or not, hey, they never know. Maybe Epic won't even care, won't punish them.
Yeah,
I think it's like almost a worthwhile risk for them to take.
Yeah, for sure. And then you kind of look towards like even Jarvis with his lifetime ban. Obviously, that was probably not worth it for him, but he made, I think, probably made a substantial amount of money. So yeah, there's a lot of motivations, a lot of angles for this. I'm not fully blaming FaZe Clan here. Just simply pointing out when it comes to FaZe Clan and their Fortnite roster, and yeah, a lot of them were accusations, but some of them were actually found to be cheating and teaming and paid the price for that. It's just you compare this Fortnite team to any other Fortnite team. There is no comparison when it comes time for accusations. And so that's where I come from. And I hope the people out there, we have a lot of a younger audience that just fully backs FaZe no matter what. I hope they can understand where I'm coming from, where if I have a little bit of a trust issue with FaZe Clan and especially Fortnite in general, that's why. So I wanted to share that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's also fair to say, if we're addressing this, we both want to make it very clear. We like FaZe Clan.
We do.
FaZe Clan is dope. So, they're just, they're like the cousin that you really like, who's really cool, but on occasion he smokes a cigarette or something when he shouldn't be.
He's like really reckless. You're like, whoa, whoa, Tony, whoa.
He's like all of a sudden going towards the bridge, like, oh, I'm gonna jump off. It's gonna be dope. And you're like,
yes. We like FaZe. They're a large part of our channel as well. But certainly they do great and maybe not so great things. Just wanted to touch on two sides.
All right, Jake, speaking of controversy, we just have to touch on one of the biggest pieces of gaming controversy that's going to be discussed in the next week, probably the next month or two, which is the Xbox Series X gameplay reveal that was showcased as of time of recording this podcast just a few hours ago. It was fascinating, to say the least, because while it was pitched as the first time we will see gameplay of this next-generation console, the majority was just third-party games that looked very lackluster. The graphics were like, okay, they're fine. They look like current gen, to be honest. And there was no sign of the major exclusives or the things that people really go to Xbox for. There's no Halo. Assassin's Creed footage was reused. And across the board, everybody is furious about this. It has been a while since I've seen this type of backlash for any single piece of an hour's worth of footage. People are up in arms across the board. And just to give you an example, Jake, because I don't know if you caught the presentation itself, Jeff Keighley, who is essentially the media guru for the gaming industry, he runs the Game Awards every year. He's doing the Summer Game Jam Fest. He put out a poll that just wanted to ask people how they felt about the presentation. He asked them to grade it from a scale of A to D, standard school grade type B, And
didn't include F because of Twitter polls.
No, yeah. You only do 4. Only do 4.
Okay,
yeah.
Sometimes.
It was like D and below.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And unfortunately, a good 43.8% at the time of recording this podcast said it was a D or below, with only 9% saying it was an A. So, not a great look. Now, you might be wondering how this ties into esports, and I think one of the best things about esports is how we have so many different sources of games and products coming to us. No one company dominates the scene. We got Riot with League, we got Epic with Fortnite, we've got
Valve with CSGO.
Yeah, obviously. It's all spread around, and everybody kind of has to compete with each other to be the best game they can be.
Yep.
I think we've seen improvements in CSGO even since Valorant got announced.
Yep.
Kind of in reaction to that, right?
Yeah, they're trying.
Yeah, they're making baby steps. And it is really unfortunate that Xbox is kind of faltering like this, because it can have the side effect of making PlayStation a little bit more complacent, because at current, it's kind of PC and PlayStation that have dominance over the esports market.
I would agree.
Nobody goes to Xbox. If you play in Call of Duty competitively, you're on PlayStation. If you're playing fighting games competitively, you're on PlayStation. Everything else, basically, you're on PC. And it's interesting that it looks like this might be yet another generation where Xbox is stuck in the corner saying hey guys, we've still got Halo. Please come check us out. Maybe watch Gears for a month before the scene dies. But anyway, I just wanted to get your thoughts, Jake. Are you at all excited about the next generation of consoles with the way things are panning out so far?
I'll be open and honest. We've talked about this new Xbox in the past a little bit, and when it comes to, like you said, the domination right now is certainly on, I would say, 2 platforms. One console, and then, of course, PC in general. PS4 and PC certainly have a fair handhold on the market. So for me, from the esports and gaming perspective, I was excited to see this because it had potential to maybe maybe make a dent into that controller market, but it doesn't seem like that's the case right now.
Right now. It's still early. Still early.
Overall, it seems almost like it was rushed for this kind of period of time, given what we know so far and the reviews so far. I don't know. I'm just curious where you go from here. I think you make a great point about complacency. It's great to see where esports and gaming is right now in terms of we really, when it comes down to individual esports pushing each other or competitive esports, both, whether they're all in the same genre or different genres, all kind of trying to lift each other up. And people are doing things like even Warzone and Fortnite's a great comparison, or Valorant and CSGO. These games do things correlated to what other things are doing in the same industry. So it's very cool to see, even with streaming platforms, Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, YouTube, they're all doing things because the others are progressing forward as well. And so I was hoping to see a bit more of that here. And I still hope that Xbox can have a bit of a bounce back and make up for this. I just don't know where they go from here.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I do think the lack of Halo anything is kind of shocking. I mean, that's the game. That is the Xbox game.
It used to, yeah. It was.
And, still not having like a good idea of how that's panning out really doesn't bode well for that scene. I do want to tell you about one thing I am excited for in the next generation, which unfortunately is something likely to be exclusive to the PlayStation 5, if anywhere. That is gyroscopic aiming. Have you heard of this?
I've never heard of gyro what?
Okay, so gyroscopic aiming is like, say you have a PS4 controller, right? And the problem with shooters on console has always been the lack of precision in comparison to a mouse, of course, right? Sony consoles have a gyroscope inside them, so it can detect like actual movements you're making physically with your hands while you're holding the controller.
Oh, jeez.
So if you're playing a game and you move your hands to the right, your character can move to the right. Most games don't use it, but the technology is there on PlayStation consoles, right?
Yeah.
And in the past couple years, this really interesting type of aiming mechanics has come into play called gyroscopic aiming, where it allows you to get very, very close to mouse accuracy with a controller by using your analog stick that would normally just be for aiming. You use that in combination with the gyroscope. So say you, on your analog stick, you move right, but you only move right, not up and down, nothing precision, and you do all the precision moves by physically moving your controller in relation to the screen.
Ah, what the?
Yeah, it's weird to think about. It's wild, but I'm very excited to see how that gets used in the next generation of games and stuff.
Yeah, I'm literally trying to picture it.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see Scump like hidden 360s by like doing like an actual 360 spin or something.
Maybe
like,
that's definitely a future talking point about it, because we all obviously have the controversy and the debate going on between mouse and keyboard and controller aim assist. So maybe that's a fix. Maybe for the future.
Yeah. It's an in between ground.
It's mouse and keyboard versus gyroscopic aim.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tongue twister.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if and when it comes to pass. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, Sony and PlayStation, complacent or not, still making great moves and still having a firm handhold. Xbox, hopefully they can bounce back from this one. And the console and PC race in esports and gaming continues. We'll see what the future is with things like gyroscopic aim. All right, Zan, we've talked a lot about begging for things when it comes to the gaming esports scene. This past week, we had Summit 1G, many other Twitch streamers react to Amanda Cerny begging for Twitch subscriptions. If you guys don't know, Amanda Cerny is very well known. I think it's a fair statement to say she's also very well off. And it kind of rubbed people the wrong way to see someone who has 26 million Instagram followers, 8 million TikTok followers, almost 1 million followers on Twitter, almost 3 million on YouTube. I could go on and on. It's tough for people to kind of take the stance with her when she begs for Twitch subscriptions. I want your thoughts on that. But along with that, I want to ask a question to everyone out there and to you. Is there ever going to be a circumstance when it comes time for someone begging for subscriptions that you will be okay with it?
Okay with it? No, I don't think so. I think subscriptions are something that like say somebody like they really need the money, right? Mm-hmm. I think there are better avenues for that than begging for Twitch subscriptions of all things, right? Like at this point in time,
you're gonna be Mr. Logical about all of this.
I mean, we've got GoFundMe and stuff at this point. You've got other options. If people like your platform, they like your content, heck, open a Patreon. Give them like some.
There's a lot of avenues.
Yeah, there's like other options here, and I do think like someone like Amanda Cerny taking this kind of position is just like really odd. In particular, it's very weird that she would choose to do this, and it almost makes me think of like in the past couple months we've seen different instances of this from much smaller personalities.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And it's like they've all seen backlash for it, but at the same time, they've all had these other people defending them, saying like, oh, it's just a joke. It's just like, it's just their thing. Their thing is being rude.
Yeah. I mean, like, Amanda, post on your Instagram story, on your Twitter feed, on your YouTube poll section, or even your YouTube story, just say, hit up my Twitch page and subscribe. You don't got to make a dedicated little clip that's going to be pulled by a lot of people and say, please sub to me. Like, you have so many avenues to drive your own viewers and your large audience to Twitch. Yeah. And so that's why it rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, it would have been like, I think it would have been great if she does something like a creator like Jordan Fisher does, where he does like really brief like promos for his Twitch page. Yeah. That are like, oh, hey, I'm doing this type of unique stuff over here on Twitch. Come over and subscribe.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Before Jordan goes live, he literally will do like a cool, inventive, like
like super often,
like a dance or a sing along, a short clip, and it'll be posted on his Twitter or wherever else. And then you're like, whoa, this guy is cool and gifted. I want to go watch. Yes. Yeah. Like just that little bit of effort. I will.
It makes a world of difference.
It really does. I would say my one case, and again, you could argue against this, I guess. Like you said, though, the one case where I'm okay with it is if someone is clearly grinding and putting out the content, and they're forced into a position where, like, guys, I have no other means to stream unless you try and support me. Like, whatever means you guys can, like, what can I do for you? That's like the one case where I'd be like, okay. When it comes to Amanda, though, like, obviously she can afford to be there and have the time to build her audience.
Right, yeah.
And so it kind of just, think what you want, guys. I'm sure we'll talk about this with someone else sometime soon.
All right, Jake, it's time for another episode of Tencent Talk. As they're in the news once again.
Yes, let's go,
with
baby.
Their industry-dominating game, Honor of Kings. For those of you who don't remember, this is the game that Tencent went to Riot Games, the developer of League, and we're like, hey, make a mobile league. Riot was like, we're chilling. And then Tencent was like, yeah, we'll just do it ourselves then. And then they did it, and now their game is like top of the charts across the world.
I'm so sorry. This is the League of Legends ripoff for mobile, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
By the company that owns League of Legends. So, I mean, is it even a ripoff at that point?
It's so like, weird.
Yeah. I don't know any other company. They'll just go to a company they own, ask them to do something. The company's like, nah. And they're just like, oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah,
that's fine. We'll just do it ourselves then. That's okay.
Riot's probably maybe Riot's preoccupied with League of Legends and Valorant. Maybe. Give them benefit of the doubt.
Well, this was like years back when they were just doing League.
Either way.
Yeah. But anyway, so Tencent is doing something really interesting with Honor of Kings by training their AI with the public. For years, bots have been a problem just because they're kind of useless to actually practice against, because a bot is never going to measure up to an actual human opponent. And how are you going to learn how to play like a character if you're just like, a bot's running into a bush or something? Obviously, nobody would just do that randomly, right?
Yeah.
And Tencent, what they're doing is they're training their AI called Wukong over this very long period of time, and apparently it's gotten to a point where it's beating like 99% of top amateur players consistently, and even dominating like pro players at events last year in Malaysia. And it is fascinating to see Tencent taking these proactive steps to just improve this aspect of the game that I think could actually help toxicity a little bit. Like, if people don't have to go into a live game and practice a character they don't know how to play, that would probably help people just not be like as mad, like, oh, you don't know how to play this character the exact way it's supposed to be played according to the meta.
This stems back many, many years to when I first started covering like AI integrations into these esports technology. I don't pretend to know about this stuff, but I remember way back in the day when I first started making YouTube videos, being approached by people who were trying to develop these AI tools for CSGO. I think lately we've actually seen Fortnite and their bots with their henchmen. If you guys know Fortnite, they've really massively improved to the point where they are.
Oh yeah, it's a huge step up.
Yeah, and so now with this, we also have Valve working with Dota.
Dota with OpenAI. Yeah.
And now this, I think it really will have a place and a future placeholder for people who don't want to go to online play and simply can play technically offline and really progress in a game by playing artificial intelligence. It's going to be a cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the future where people can just like practice by themselves and just chill,
or get a couple homies together in a lobby, and all of a sudden you're facing off against bots. Like that's a fun thing to think about. Plenty of games, whether it's a 4-man game, a 5-man game, people play 10s where it's like 5v5. All of a sudden you and the homies are like, yo, let's get on tonight, play some bots.
No, yeah, just be chilling.
You slowly progress against different level of bots.
Not even have to worry about like playing against other people, and just have it be like a relaxing night with the boys.
Yeah, crack some, if you're of legal age, crack some brews.
Yeah.
Especially during this quarantine time, you're all at home. safe and sound apart from each other, and you don't have to worry about everyone. As long as you guys can connect to the game, you don't got to worry about the enemy team cheating or not connecting, or you always have a team there.
Yeah,
I think it's a great future, and I am super curious, especially when you involve companies like Tencent, where it will go.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the future of esports, and I'm excited to see it.
We might be a bit away, but we're slowly baby steps.
Getting there.
Baby steps. All right, Zan. Our other reporter here on the channel, Nicholas, talked about this one earlier this week. He called it nails in the coffin. He then went on to state 12, 13. He lost count of how many nails in the coffin this was.
Can anybody actually count how many nails there are?
It would take a lot longer to break this down if we wanted to break down every issue that Overwatch League has had. Just this week alone, Zan, we talked about Nade Shot and Courage cracking jokes at Hector Rodriguez about the Overwatch League investment. The last week before that, we saw Sinatra, MVP, former champion for the San Francisco Shock, retire from Overwatch competitively to join Valorant before the game is released. Before all that, we saw a handful of pro players, both from contenders and the main league, leave during, because of Rises of Valorant and the strenuous travel schedule, the in-game updates. We can go on and on. And then, most recently, Zan, we saw the Vancouver Titans have some issues in the Overwatch realm, not the Overwatch League.
Issues is one way to put it. Issues is like, that's a little light, my friend.
It's very light.
Yeah. I'd say Vancouver Titans imploded a little bit. They fell in on themselves and just like, I'm surprised they didn't just close down, to be honest.
If I almost want to say it's a shame this happened with an unknown, kind of a more... it's a more discreet name and organization. If this happened with a Cloud9 or a Liquid or a FaZe, this would be a talking point for weeks to come. And I think a lot of people out there who are very well known to actually dive into this stuff know this is esports history. This kind of breakdown of an entire team is unheard of, and hopefully will not happen anytime soon. But do you have any details that you want to talk about in particular?
Yeah, I do think it's fascinating that this is a team that, like you said, they're relatively unknown in terms of like the broader esports sphere, but this is like a top tier team. They were second place at grand finals for the Overwatch League last year, and they've had this rivalry going with the San Fran Shock for the longest time. That's now like evaporated into nothingness. And I don't think this is such a negative look for Overwatch League, even though it's already been struggling, like really, really desperately trying to maintain interest from fans and players alike. I don't know where you really go from here. How do you lose? Like, I think about this almost like, what would happen if the Huntsmen just all of a sudden were like, it's not working out, guys. The Call of Duty League would be like, that'd be devastating.
Yeah, and we can talk about how the team to be replaced, but the issue being that there are so many pro players displeased with the current state of Overwatch, to have an entire team just evaporate like this, that's why it's so unheard of. Obviously, this situation has been ongoing for quite some time, but now with the final wrap-up, I don't know. It's really hard to see where Overwatch goes from here. And I know we have Overwatch viewers and fans that watch. Guys, trust me, we know. Overwatch had high potential, and we have the...
it always has.
And Overwatch 2 is set to come sometime soon. But if you wrap up all of the entire picture of people leaving this scene and the struggles they have had, it has to be a concern. And this is just kind of like the cherry on top.
Yeah, I imagine the reason we haven't heard a lot about Overwatch 2 is that Blizzard is looking at all of this and saying, we really need more in Overwatch 2 to not just bring like the esports scene back, but to bring that like amazing player base they had in the early days of Overwatch back. Because I mean, I'm sure you remember early Overwatch, everybody was playing it. That was like the thing you do on the weekends.
Very hyped up. It was very hyped.
And now I don't know anybody who still plays it. Oh, well, we know one guy. We know.
don't do him like that. Yeah. It's really hard to even wrap up this segment because last week we talked about what is one thing that can save Mixer. Maybe a future talking point is what is one thing. I don't think it's one thing that can save Overwatch right now. I think it has to be multiple things, and we'll see how they respond to all of this. It's just a crazy situation, and we'll see what the future of OWL is. People are making their jokes. People are still leaving. And with the rise of Valorant, we could actually potentially be seeing the death of a different esport.
Yeah, I think Overwatch 2 is our last hope at this point.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to wait.
And we'll see what comes with it. All right, folks. I hope you all enjoyed the Esports Rewind podcast. Audio listeners, thank you for staying tuned. YouTube listeners, hope you guys enjoyed as well. Xanifer, You want to hit him with that hot outro?
You sounded like you were struggling there towards the end.
Dude.
You know,
Oh,
like,
man.
yo, take a sip, my guy. Get some water in you.
Oh,
Cleanse your not the dangerous stuff. Get some water. Cleanse your system.
dude, before you get to the outro,
Yeah.
I saw so. Oh man, there's no chance this person is watching, but I read a comment this week that some dude was like, Jake, please take a break and also stop drinking caffeine. I have a friend who got massively obese because he was drinking too much caffeine, and I don't know. It was a weird comment. Thank you for your concern. I appreciate that.
We appreciate the concern. Don't think you have to worry about that with Jake. Homie works out too much, a little bit too much. But anyway, thank you all for listening. As per usual, if you'd like to find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, on the go, on your favorite podcast platform of choice, you can find us as part of the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. Just type in PREEDICTION.
You got it.
I got it. Yeah. Let's go. And you can find us there along with a bunch of other amazing esports podcasts. We got stuff from Call of Duty, Smash Bros, everything you could want, and even Dota 2. Let's be real. We got you covered. So check us out there. Audio listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like some daily esports news content from one of the best in the biz, you can check out our daily esports news on YouTube at Esports Talk. Please, everyone, continue reaching out on Twitter and Instagram. We really appreciate it. We do read literally everything we get in. Today, actually, I have a meeting right after this, but after that, I'm going back through. I'm going to try to respond to everything we've gotten. Even if I can't give anything detailed, I'm going to try to go through. Might take me a second, but, we'll do it.
Zan, come on.
Yeah,
we gotta go.
Yeah, okay. You can find us on Twitter at talk_esports, Instagram, esports_talk. Check out the website, esportstalk.com. That's a new one. Slide through. Thank you all for watching. Jake, you have anything you want to leave them with?
No, nothing. I hope you guys take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be healthy. All right, we'll see you guys.
Wash your hands.
We'll see you guys back here next week. Ta-ta.